Hello, welcome to today's video. In this video, I am going to be closing out my budget for the month of January and organizing my budget for the month of February. So for those of you all who have not seen my budget videos before, I'll give a couple of disclaimers. The first disclaimer is that I get paid once a month. So this will be my one and only budget. The second disclaimer is the way that it works for me is I pay everything that I can, meaning everything that is not automatic, and then I just let the remaining of my automatic payments come out throughout the month. So let's go ahead and get started. Oh, one other thing I'll mention is that my budget is broken up into 3 sections. So I have my sinking fund section, my debit envelope section, and my bill section. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. So the first thing I do is I take a look at my bills for January, make sure that they've all come out, make sure it's all been reflected in my bank account. And that's what the highlight means. And as you can see, everything is highlighted. And then for my debit envelopes, as the month has gone on, I went on ahead and subtracted things out. And today I actually just used my calculator and figured out what the total remaining was. So these are the total remaining amounts in each of these categories. And after adding all of that up, my ending balance or remaining balance is $783.27. So that money will be carried over into my budget for February. Okay. And then the last thing is my sinking funds. Now, I have not actually wrote the balance down, but what is the bottom balances for these is actually going to be my ending balance, thus my starting balance for February. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. I am using an undated extension pack for February. I will be just kind of writing the dates in. So let me look at a February calendar. And I don't know if I'm going to have you all sit through this as I write the numbers in. Actually, I'm going to pull these pages out. These pages will actually end up in my catch-all planner. So month to month, I will take out. So I'm going to take out January and put it in here. And then I'm going to take out all the February pages and put it in my catch-all planner. But for now, let me just take these pages out and work with this. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, so now that I fill that in, I will go ahead and go through and add some stickers and mark when my automatic payments come out. But for now, I probably will do that on camera, but speed it up and add it to the end of this video. For now, I'm going to go ahead and start filling in my bill section. So what goes on this page are all of my bills, whether they are variable expenses or fixed expenses. As you can see, I used to the very bottom, and I actually have a couple of more things that I signed up for for subscriptions. I know that's bad. I should be trying to save money, but there's a reason that I did what I did. Nevertheless, I'm going to see if I can figure out how I can work that into this page and somehow make it all still fit. So let's start with February 2022. Okay, so the amount that I am choosing, hold on, I'm trying to look at my laptop because I use my phone for recording, and before I started recording these videos, I would use my phone when I was creating my budget, but that's not an option right now. Okay, so let's see. I'm choosing to budget 5132, and remember I talked about in this January debit envelope page that my ending balance will be a carryover. I had $783.27, but I like to carry over an even number. So I'm going to carry over $775. There's no particular reason why I've chosen $775. It just looks like a nice, neat number. And then that also, well, it just looks like a nice, neat number. I'll leave it at that. So let's go ahead and get started writing some of these things in. So these bills stay the same for the most part, except for my additional subscriptions. Okay, so I have filled out my paper for all of my bills. The next thing I'm going to do is just make a couple of notations. So I'm going to put a dot by some of these. What this means for me is that these are bills that I put into another account to be paid. All right, so in a bill paying account with my husband. I've consolidated some of these. So like my utilities are now, my water and electric are now titled utilities. So internet, storage, and homeowners and car I put together. These two I kind of take into account. So that's these up here. So I'll put a dot next to that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is put an A under this paid section for all of my payments that are automatic. So that is one section of my bills. Let me go ahead and add all of this up. Where's my calculator? Right here. So that equals $31.74. Let's just jot that down right here. $31.74. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is fill out my debit envelope sheet. This is just a sheet that I make up every month. It's going to be pretty much similar to this one. So I am going to take a look at my laptop and just kind of fill things in. So for groceries, I have budgeted $6.25. Restaurants is $2.50. Gas is $2.50. I don't know if I'm going to regret that. I've been working from home, and starting in the middle of February, I will be going back to work full time. I work an hour away from my house. So I'm a little salty about that, but you know, that's neither here nor there. I'm just a little worried. I don't have a gauge on how much fuel is going to cost me. So if you may have noticed last month, I only budgeted 150, but I did up it by 100, but I'm still not quite sure if that's going to be enough. I do have an SUV, so, you know, we'll see how it goes. So toiletries. I guess I should be putting the zeros behind it. This is the one area, the only area besides writing like the exact amount of bills where I do take into account the change. So I'll make sure I add the zeros behind. So 100 for beauty. Baby stuff gets 250. Household gets, I believe it's still 100. And entertainment still gets 100. All right, so let's add all of this up. I will admit that I probably over budget a little bit, but in these areas, I think it's better safe than sorry. Especially since I do end up carrying it over. So $17.75. And I'm just going to write ending balance right here for the end of the month. All right, so on the back of here, I believe is where I was adding things up. So $17.75, 3174 plus $17.75 is $4,949. Okay, so the total amount, I don't know if I mentioned it, but the total amount that I am budgeting this month is the addition of these two numbers. So 5,907. And if I subtract the 4,949, I should be putting $958 into my sinking funds. So let's see if my math is mathing, right? Hold please. I don't think my math is mathing. Let me add this up again. So I re-added it again. I forgot to take these to an account. These are bills that my husband and I have chosen to split, even though it does come out of my account automatically. So that's when I put the money into our joint account for bills, I go ahead and just kind of put take that halving of those bills into account. That probably is as clear as mud, and I am so sorry. But it does make sense. All right, so if I take this 4847, which is the addition of my bills on this page and the amount that I have allocated for my debit envelopes, I'm going to subtract that from this total amount that I will be budgeting this month. And so that means, if my math is mathing, that I would have $1,060 left over to put into my sinking funds. So this is my sinking funds paper. This again, sorry, my paper dropped. This again is another page that I created just really quickly. I am going to pull this up and just mimic what I did for the previous month. My sinking funds have not changed. So let's jot this down. All right, so I am going to fill out this month-end balance. This month-end balance is basically going to be the leftover balance. This means the leftover balance from the previous month. Okay, so I'm just gonna, well, actually, I'm gonna fill these two out and then I'll fill this out later. So for my sinking funds, I do have physical cash envelope system, but I don't have any cash. My cash is sitting in the bank. I don't plan on going to the bank anytime soon. So I'm just going to kind of mark it here, and then I will eventually get around to stuffing my cash envelopes. I've never really recorded or posted any any cash stuffing envelope videos. There are a lot of videos out there. If you guys want to see that from me, I will be more than happy to start recording those and putting those out there for you. But I don't know if there's desire to see it. So for now, I'm just going to write the numbers. Okay. So you probably can't see it, but my notebook is here on the side. I'm going to use that in conjunction with my cash book to figure out and confirm what my leftover balance is. So for car maintenance, $375. And there will be no cents or change written on these because I only deal in whole dollars when it comes to my sinking funds. So that means if I go to the store and I spend $100.51 on my kids' clothes, out of that fund comes $101. So I just use the round up, round down 50, 51 rule. Okay. So, let's see. So for car maintenance, I had $375 left over. I am going to add 50, and that brings it to $425. For house maintenance, I had $675 left over. I am going to add 50, and that will make it $725. For HOA, we actually just paid our HOA dues, so I'm just slowly building it up. I had 30, so I'm adding 20 to make it 50. For travel, there's no particular destination or date in mind for my family. So since I have $2,700, I'm just going to only stuff $100. Well, there is an idea. I do want to go to Disney. I want to go to Disney in 2 or 3 years. So I'm just kind of slowly saving here and there. And then if there's any place that we want to go to in between, I really wish COVID would get its life together because I miss taking cruises. But, you know, if there's something that my family wants to do, it will come out of this fund. Like, this is not specifically a Disney fund. This is just a travel fund, even though Disney is the end goal. Okay, so for kids' clothes, $650. My kids are growing like weeds. So I'm pretty sure, although I bought a bunch of things this last month, that I'm going to have to buy some more. So I'm going to put $225 to the side, and that makes it $875. For my clothes, I have $700. I've been building this up just over the months by adding $75 each month. And that now puts me at a total of $775. I do anticipate that I'll be dipping into this fund now that I will be having to go back to work in person. Since I have, let's see, I haven't been to work physically since March 2020. And during that time, I have had a baby and I have ballooned and I've not gotten back down to pre-baby weight. So I probably will be investing in some items for my wardrobe. All right, so Mad Money, I had $580 left over. I generally give myself about $220-ish to $250-ish. For whatever reason, I'm being generous this month, and I'm giving myself $275, and that brings it up to $855. Right, for miscellaneous, I use that when there isn't really... when there's like a surprise fund or something. So if my coworkers want to get together and get like a gift for a coworker who maybe is having a baby or is retiring or something like that, I generally will pull money out of this account or this fund. So that's what happened. A coworker retired. We will miss her. So I'm gonna stuff a little bit more back into that and bring it up to 120. Medical, I had 515. I'm going to add 140, and that brings it to 655. I probably will be having to get contacts soon, so I'm kind of stuffing some money here and there into that account. So gifts, I have 915. And I'm going to add $85 to bring it to a nice even number of 1,000. And then for family photos, I had 180. I'm just going to stuff 20, and that'll bring it to 200. I don't know when we'll be getting family photos anytime soon, but it's just nice to know that I have a fund dedicated to that. So I'm going to add my leftover balance. And that brings it to 7,420. And the amount we really care about is the amount that I am adding. I think I'm supposed to be, let's see. I'm supposed to, well, I have left over $1,060. So let's see if that's what this adds up to. Love it. So $1,060 puts a total of $84.80 in my sinking funds. And just for me to verify it, I'm going to add this up as well. There we go, $84.80. All right, so that takes care of that. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of put all my pages together the way that I need them to be. So I'm going to pull out January, well, along with this. I'm going to keep my sinking funds and debt payoff pages in here. And I'm going to pull this out. So I don't ever, for whatever reason, use these pages. You can see I tried. I started off with the best of intention and it did not work out. I may try to start again in February and see if I can, you know, keep track of it. Just for me, it does not work out to keep track of my spending in that way. Okay, so I'm pulling out the rest of my February pages. Even though it's possible I won't use them, I may see if I can kind of change and revamp these pages. For me, I would prefer just like a running tally type of page. So what I mean by that is I don't want it broken up in weekly expenses. I want it to just be like monthly expenses, and I just list everything and just list. And maybe that's because I get paid monthly. I do think that if I was paid on a weekly or bi-weekly basis, that might be a little bit more useful to me, the way that it's broken up. Well, see if I can pop these pages in successfully. All right, there we go. So the last thing for me to do is, well, actually, I didn't even write a year on here, 2022. So from here, oh, let me write total. I'm just like halfway filling everything out. I don't know what's going on. So from here, what I do is this page is basically the same thing as the front. What I'm going to do is I'm going to white these out and put my fund name in here. So it will be something similar to this. Now, this isn't a good example because I did not keep up with my balances the way that I needed to. But basically what I do is I say, okay, I know I spend the most money on the weekend. So every Monday, I'm going to keep a tally of what is in my sinking funds envelopes. So that's what I'm going to do. So if I were to look at February, right, the 31st just happened. So I would write, for here, I would write this out and write February 7th balance, February 14th, 21st, and 28th balance, okay, which will technically be month end balance. So maybe I'll leave it at, no, I'm going to put February 28th. And then right here will be the month end balance where I fill it out. I hope that was clear. I believe the last thing that I need to do other than, you know, do the nice banking transfer into our bill pay account is to just fill this part out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to shut up. I'm going to speed it up, put some music on, and let you all see me do this. I think I already have a video where I have done this with me talking. Maybe, maybe not. But I feel like it's pretty self-explanatory and you don't really need to hear me continue to ramble on. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. And if you have not, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss any of my future budgeting videos. I'm going to be using this budget sticker book. So let's just jump right in.
I'm a globetrotter. You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 we just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차 나가신다 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter. You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 we just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차 나가신다 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter. 지금부터 시작이야 한턱에 money calls 세계 리듬이야 한턱에 money meant the moves I've been killing it now 아직 대비 미쳐버린 범인 아니니까 하더라봐 미래로 돌아가 doing it cause I'm fly now 비교나 더 알아 지가지 못하잖아 켜보지만 나의 실력이 no visa 뉴욕에서 한국까지 everybody raving visa I'm balling out cause I'm a globetrotter yeah 나처럼 잘 나가는 래퍼 불러 yeah 내 쇼미 나가다가 everybody staring I don't need to play with rockets 나의 빗줄 내지 I'm a globetrotter. You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 we just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차 나가신다 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter. You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 we just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차 나가신다 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter. Trotter 나 계속 올라가다 I know all about it body 소리 너무 많이 친다 빨리 들어가래 how we sound it 자리 빨리 비켜 내가 온다니까 받아하지 못한 난 실려왔다니까 너 계속 여기 맴돌아 와라 말은 두바이 I'm a globetrotter 이 신발에도 절대 멈추진 않아 You know I gotta go 내 시간 넌 잡아 집중 focus all you know is the guala Boy you slacking people talking 말만 하지 ain't no action 만만하게 보였던 사람들 다 subtracting globetrotting 시작도 안 돼서 지금부터 앞으로 You know I'm only going up yeah You could call me filthy, KID 해서 I hit a magic 92 broken on third eye 열지 기본 I just keep on cause I'm curveball kanji I'm a globetrotter. You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 we just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차 나가신다 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter. You and I 비교나 하지마 우리 너무 달라 we just different 나 좀 봐라 여자나 집이나 세차 나가신다 너무 빨라 I'm a globetrotter. Trotter 나 계속 올라가다 I know all about it body 소리 너무 많이 친다 빨리 들어가래 how we sound it 자리 빨리 비켜 내가 온다니까 받아하지 못한 난 실려왔다니까 너 계속 여기 맴돌아 와라 말은 두바이
All right, y'all, so this is going to be my setup for the month of February. Here is my monthly view. This is my bills. This is the page for my debit envelope. And this is the page for my sinking funds. I have yet to fill the back out, but I will fill that out off camera. Thank you all so much for sticking with me as I created my February budget. Please consider hitting the subscribe button so that you don't miss any other budgeting videos. I also do post planner videos weekly, and I would love to have you join me on those videos as well. I will see you all in my next one. Bye.